Boxing probably gave me my true personality.
I have the absolute pleasure, really excited for this one, being a boxing fan as well. We've been talking for a little while. Kieron Conway of Matchroom Boxing.
A lot of people laughing at me, teachers, schoolmates. I was small, skinny, and nobody believed me. Nobody believed a word I would say about boxing or anything. I didn't have a great amateur background. I never won a national title. Stayed on the small hall scene and just believing that I was going to be on the biggest platform in the world. I do get involved in everything. It just gives me peace of mind because you leave something to someone else, you never know.
What does Kieron's journey look like for kind of like the next 10 years?
I don't want to give myself a safety net. I don't want a backup plan. I don't want to be leaving boxing having to go and graft. I want to give it all to boxing. And I want to leave boxing able to do what I want to do after boxing. The social media does not matter. And there's people that are too invested in this idea of having a big social media makes you something. It doesn't. I still believe I'll be a world champion, no matter what anyone else thinks, no matter what any of my losses have looked like. I know I'm still going to shock a lot of people maybe in the next 12 months.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So before we begin today's podcast, I'd like to say a big thank you to Casita Properties for sponsoring this podcast. They are the UK leading property company when it comes to off-market, discreet, buy-to-let sales. All the links will be in the description below. I have the absolute pleasure, really excited for this one, being a boxing fan as well. We've been talking for a little while. Kieron Conway of Matchroom Boxing. Mate, thanks so much for coming on.
No problem. It's good to finally get here after all the troubles that I've had in the last hour.
No road rage. We got here, you got parked up. We finally made it. It's been on the cards for a little while actually, isn't it? We've been talking for quite a while and I'm excited. I was just saying there off camera that big boxing fan. Yeah. You know, we've had a boxer on before. We're going to have a few more coming up. So it's exciting for me because this is almost like I can ask questions that I like as well. Yeah, so let's just start with your journey, mate. Who are you? Where did it begin? And why are you a boxer? Let's hear about it.
Do you know what? I don't know how I became a boxer as such because it don't really run in my family at all. It probably just stems from when I was younger. I used to get up early in the morning. Again, I don't know why. I used to get up early in the morning with my dad and we used to watch people like Ricky Hatton when he's over in America and Oscar De La Hoya. And I don't really know what made me want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning when I'm, 8 or 9 years old, I think. I don't really know. Maybe younger, actually, because I started wanting to be a boxer before that because I started karate at 6 instead. I wasn't allowed to be a boxer. I wasn't allowed to go to a boxing gym or anything. So my dad told me to go do something else. I ended up doing karate. And I did that for like 6 years. Got a black belt when I was 11 or 12 in that. And then in the end, I was allowed to go to a boxing gym, quite local, King's Eve boxing gym. Luckily for me, it was a really high level boxing gym and they had really good champions like in the history of, it weren't King's Eve Boxing Club that had the history, it was Kingsthorpe and it changed. It just moved a little bit down the road. And this is basically how it all came about. There weren't much to it. Like I said, there weren't much in the family. It just came from something in me, I think. I was never pushed to it, 100%. Yeah. I was pushed away from it. But yeah, I had a mate in school, in primary school, and he was a boxer. And I just obviously kids who were going, he was going probably like once or twice a week. And it just happens that his dad was the coach. And that's one of the reasons what started me wanting to go to a boxing gym, just to go with him. And actually, he's now a professional boxer, and he still trains in the same gym as me with my dad. So his dad started teaching me, and now we're both with my dad. So it's been a long journey since 6 years old, wanting to be a boxer. 11 going into the boxing gym for the first time, and now I'm 26 years old, and we're both still going at it.
It's awesome. So it just happened naturally, really.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're someone who's just disciplined from the off, really.
Yeah, probably was. But I knew that there was something that I wanted to do that weren't quite normal. Like it's not the normal thing when you're a kid. If somebody says to a kid, what do you want to be when you're older? They don't naturally go, I want to be a professional boxer. It's usually, I want to be a professional footballer, I want to be an astronaut, I want to do this. They're not really a professional boxer. Maybe nowadays things seem to be changing. The young kids, they seem like they're really hungry for boxing now.
They like the title.
Yeah, they like it. They like the title. They like going to a boxing gym. Like my dad's gym is full of kids. They split up all into individual sessions where if you've got certain age categories and you've got amateurs, keep fit sessions, professional sessions. But I know that the kids' sessions are packed all the time, and he works with schools and stuff like that, which was never a thing when I was in school. Never. That was like the opposite to how things were. I don't know.
It was cross-country PE running.
Yeah. You'd go and throw beanbags.
Yeah.
But now you get boxing in school.
Yeah.
Which
it's changed, isn't it?
Yeah, that's mad. That's good. It's probably good because boxing is a good discipline. It's good in so many areas. So for like a kid, especially with fitness and...
It's putting you on the right path, isn't it?
100%.
Do you know, just something really funny? When I used to box, like say, licensed, I did box for a while, did enjoy it, loved it, discipline was great. I've always been very routine, very similar to yourself. I've always been up early. My son's exactly the same. Like, he was up this morning, he's like up 6 o'clock playing his Nintendo headphones on, he's like destroying everyone on Fortnite. I think you're just an early bird, or you're like, I had friends that would lay until like 1 in the afternoon. I'm like, how do you do it? I'm tired. Come on, there's hours to be used. But on the whole boxing thing, have you had this? We were just saying about the title. So many people who start boxing, especially males, they do one training class and then they go into school and they're like, I'm a boxer. Yeah. It's like, no, you've done a training session. You're not licensed. You've done a session. Yeah. It's the title, isn't it? Mm-hmm. What was schooling like? Did you have trouble? Were you a bit of a rough lad? Did you get in fights? Because I know a few kids that were boxers at school and you wouldn't want to fuck with them.
Yeah, I was the opposite. Because when I was in secondary school, for example, I was small, skinny, and nobody believed me. Nobody believed a word I would say about boxing or anything. They just thought I was just this kid that didn't want to be at school, and I'm just talking a lot of rubbish. Basically, that's all anyone used to think. Because I just remember I've got a very good memory of a lot of people laughing at me. Teachers, schoolmates, people at school, and it kind of like put me in my own little category. I remember there was a lot of lunchtimes I'd walk around on my own because I just thought, what is wrong with these people? Why can they not see what I'm seeing?
Why was that?
I don't know, because I was small, because I was skinny.
Okay.
They just could not see what I was telling them. Right. I was telling them that I'm going to be a boxer. I'm going to make it in boxing. I'm going to be a world champion.
So it's almost like now, if we talk about we're going to start a business, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to take action. It's kind of like, okay, get me on board. Like, how can I learn from you? Like, I love this attitude. Whereas take that into school, it's a little bit like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? What are you going on?
Yeah. School kids are.
Why are you not at the tuck
different.
shop?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's strange, isn't it? What was your childhood like growing up? Did you get into problems, or were you just kind of, is this just a total tip of the scale that you were that quiet kid, different, and now you've ended up sort of in this lifestyle? Is it, or could you see that maybe things were changing?
I was a quiet kid. I was very, very, very shy. I was the kid that would hide behind his mum's leg when she's speaking to her friends. I didn't want to get involved in anything. So I don't really know why this comes about. This again, like I come back to, I don't know where this came from. Why did I want to be a boxer? I just did. Like going back to what you said, where people go to a boxing session and they go to school saying they're a boxer. You do boxing or you are a boxer.
Yeah.
And I 100% made sure that I was a boxer from very early into stepping into a boxing gym.
Yeah.
The first session, I don't know what it was, but I remember going back to my mum. She asked how did you find it and stuff like that. I've gone to this boxing session in my vest and thinking on the bollocks, basically, even though that weren't me.
Yeah.
It kind of brings out a different side to you that you weren't even like knowing that you was capable of being. Because saying I was so shy that I didn't want to talk to anyone and stuff like that. But as soon as I got to a boxing gym, I thought I was the bollocks. I really did.
Changes you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think also it really depends on the circle you're around. Like influences from other people of who you mix in. The thing is, you can't help it but go into a boxing gym. There's some tough kids in there. And there's also, you find from boxing, it's an escape of reality to some bad situations that other kids might be in. Like that's I can't remember what boxing gym it was. I think even John Hedges, the gym that he goes to, I can't remember what that one he was. He said that some of the kids that have joined there, they've got history, you know, they've got past. And I think when you step into that, it's a case of you're in the lion's den. You know, you kind of have to, even if you are shy or something like that, you kind of have to up your game. Yeah. Do you find that perhaps this was like not an inner security, but something that you needed to prove? Because that's one thing, especially with males, like as we're growing up, there is a lot of trying to prove points, you know, especially if you're telling people that that's what you're going to do. I'm just relating this to certainly things that I was doing at school and stuff like that. I remember telling people I'm going to do this and do that. And a lot of doubt is almost like, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like I have to do this now. And then you have to go and become a person that maybe you didn't know you were going to become to prove a point. Yeah.
I'm definitely now very much like that. 100% now. I can't remember if I was like that when I was younger. I know when I was losing or anything, at anything, even if I'd play my dad again on the PlayStation or something and he'd beat me at something, I'm a kid, he's a fully grown man, he's obviously going to beat me at whatever this was. What was it, Pro Evolution Soccer or something like that.
I remember that. I preferred that to FIFA.
Yeah, that's what we used to play.
PES, wasn't it?
Yeah, and so he used to beat me, and I know I'd hate it. I would really badly hate it. I'd go cry, I'd storm off. I was a bad loser. But now it's like if someone thinks they're going to beat me, or someone tells me I can't do something, that really, really does spur me on. Yeah. So I don't know what's gone on. Things just change as you grow up, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not the same kid. I'm not the same guy as I was when I was a kid. 100%. I'm totally the opposite. I don't really feel shy in really any situation anymore. I think the boxing probably helped. Boxing probably gave me my true personality, I believe, because it probably just brought it out. It was probably maybe hidden. And in boxing, you put yourself in a lot of uncomfortable situations and you have to become comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Or else you don't really succeed. It's just the way it is in boxing. It's hard. And like you said about going into the lion's den, when I went into the amateur gym and I got put into like the higher category, higher class session, because there was 2 sessions, which was basically fighters and beginners kind of fitness. When I got put into the second session, that was horrible at first. There were some good fighters in there, some good travelling boys, and they used to beat the life out of me. And
you would fight different weights as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because I remember that as well. You would go into different weight classes. You wouldn't just fight your weight class.
No, it was hard.
What weight class are you?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm a middleweight.
Middleweight. And what are you weighing in kilo?
Well, that's a 72.5 kilos category, but right now I'm quite big.
Hush.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say. Fighting in 8 weeks.
Yeah, well, it really does test you. I think when you go into that, it kind of almost forces a quicker man version out of you. Do you know what I mean? Just to sort of really grow up. Because I think the incredible thing with boxing, my son boxes now. So like you said, he had to start off in karate because he wasn't old enough until he was 8, until he could start boxing. But now he's like boxing 12-year-olds and he's only 9. And I can already see he's got so much energy and just channeling that. And I think that's a good thing. And it sounds like maybe there was this inner fire in you, but it needed just to be channeled. Talk us through how the Matchroom came about, because that's massive. You know, to have Matchroom behind you is massive. Talk us through how that happened.
Well, I always kind of wanted to go that direction. I think when you're a pro, when you've not been to the Olympics or you've not just turned over pro with a promoter, you end up on the small hall scene. I don't know if you know much about the small hall boxing. It's professional boxing, but you're not on TV.
Yeah,
you're in the local theatre.
Yeah,
or the
like
community
a
centre.
York Hall kind of.
Yeah. I mean, they do have York Hall on TV, but you have York Hall not on TV as well. But even smaller than that, it could be a hotel. You could be fighting in a hotel, and it's still a pro fight, pro event and everything. But that's where I started off, because I didn't have a great amateur background. I never won a national title, never even got to a national final. I mean, I didn't have the worst record if you want to go into records, but I only lost one as a senior, and it was to the winner of the national championships, but it wasn't in the final or anything. But so yeah, being on these small little scenes, you get multiple offers and choices from your manager and promoters. Like they're talking about, shall we go down this route, this route? I was like, no, I'm going to hold on. I want to go this route. And so I stayed there. I stayed on the small little scene, doing what I'm doing, and just believing that I was going to be on the biggest platform in the world, and one day. And then eventually I get the call, straight after my first loss actually, in that Ultimate Boxing competition. I get my first call, I get my call that says, do you want to fight for the British title? I had to go and get a win in between. So I went to my local theatre and I got a win. But fight for the British title against Ted Cheeseman. I was like, yeah, 100%. So we took that fight. They then pulled out for whatever reason they do. And then a few weeks later, I get the call again. So I was obviously devastated at this time. And I was like, I've just come off a loss, just come off a quick win. So when I was in the gym, it was more like ticking over, if that really. Probably going training 3 times a week at this point. With 3 weeks until the fight, they call back up again. Do you want this fight again? Well, yeah, but now I've got 3 weeks. So I've got to make weight. I've got to quickly get fit for when I'd only just done 3 rounds in the Ultimate Boxer and then a 4-rounder the 2 weeks after. So I've not been training for a 12-rounder. In my life, I'd never even sparred more than 6 rounds. But I still took it, believing I was going to win. I've gone there, put on a good fight. It was a big, it got a lot of attention because it was a good fight and because I came off this short notice and I've come out
against
of nowhere.
Cheeseman? That
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
Came out of nowhere, put on a good fight, got the draw. Got a lot of attention, and then I got another call a couple of weeks later whilst I'm on holiday in Greece. I was actually on a boat. I was on a boat party. I got a call. They're like, Matchroom are trying to get hold of you and sign this contract. I'm like, what contract? They're like, have you not been looking at your messages? No, I'm on holiday.
Oh no.
I was literally on a boat party on the phone. Like, so what's going on? Don't know how I even got signal at that point, but I managed to get some signal. And then yeah, basically just made a deal there, and then from there, it's been all guns blazing with Matchroom.
Yeah, it's awesome. So did you deal much directly with Eddie throughout the contract?
No, not directly with Eddie, but other people in Matchroom.
Yeah.
Frank Smith in particular. I speak to Frank Smith quite a lot. Definitely more than Eddie. Eddie, he's busy. He's doing what he does. You speak to him at the show. Yeah.
Eddie.
Yeah.
No context. Love it.
Yeah. And you speak to him at the show when you need to or whatever. But yeah, you just do what you've got to do. Don't really go to people just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I focus on me, and that's the way I always have been.
So let's talk about we were talking off camera. I want to really cover off like the risk of boxing, because that's the other thing, is you can earn some serious money. We've all seen who's earning good money and stuff like that. How is the balance for you in terms of, we wouldn't be doing any of this for anyone, any business, any industry, any sport. You love it, yes, but at the end of the day, you need to earn some money if you're getting punched in the head. And you want to earn good money if you're getting punched in the head. How have you ever had sit-down conversations with yourself just thinking, how much is my health worth a price? Because we were talking about a certain boxer who now is suffering. Well, there's been many boxers, isn't there? It's not just one in particular. But how much is your health worth for a price? Like, does that run through your head every time you step into the ring? You know, it only takes one punch, doesn't it?
Yeah. It has been a conversation I've had with myself a lot of times. It doesn't deter me. Deter? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
It doesn't deter me. But yeah, mate, for that moment when you're thinking about it, it's like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
To be fair, that's what goes through my head before I get in the ring.
Well, I'm not on a forklift somewhere.
He goes, yeah, come on, let's go for my ring walk. And I'm like, why am I doing this? But nah, all seriousness, it has been something that went through my head a few times. And you obviously see things and then it goes through your head again. And certain movies in particular, and you see news that something's happened to someone, and it makes it real. It makes it more real, especially when it's someone on a similar kind of path, similar level. Like it's happened to some people that are really destined for some big things in boxing, and I mean, I try not to think about it too much, but I do think about it.
Yeah.
Which is why I try not to get hit too much as well.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Being a good boxer, not getting hit.
The aim of it is to not get hit. Some people don't really take that on board.
Yeah.
But you are trying not to get hit as much as you are. Yeah, no names.
Yeah.
No names.
You're not what I say. I can.
Yeah, you can.
Who's your favourite boxer?
My favourite boxer? Me.
Yeah. Good answer. But on all seriousness though, like when it comes to the price packet, because like for all of us, do we all want to be working until the day that we pop it? Not really. You want to have that kind of exit plan. If you're starting a business, do you want to put your body through the stress mentally, physically to be doing that for the rest of your life? No. Do you want to enjoy the process? Of course we do. So when it comes to boxing, because it's a physical job, but actually quite a dangerous one. When it comes to an exit plan, have you even thought about that? Like, okay, what number am I going to be happy? Are your investments good? Like, how is your... Because to be in boxing, let's face it, you've got to have some form of a business mindset to kind of see the bigger picture. You've got a great brand online, social, stuff like that. That will help with brands. What's kind of that, if you're taking a step back, what does Kieron's journey look like for kind of like the next 10 years? Is there a bigger plan beyond boxing?
I don't want to give myself a safety net. I don't want a backup plan. Obviously, you do think about what happens after boxing, but I don't want to be leaving boxing having to go and graft again.
Yeah.
Boxing's hard enough, and you do put your body through a lot. Like your hands, all of your joints, your head. It's not something to be half-hearted. If you're only going to do it for a short period of time, for a 10-year career that's going to leave you in the same position and having to graft again afterwards, I don't see the point.
Makes no sense.
I'm giving it all. I don't give myself safety net. Like I said, I don't give myself a backup plan. I want to give it all to boxing. And I want to leave boxing able to do what I want to do after boxing. Give myself whatever choice I want to do. I want to go and sit on a beach for a few months each year, half a year, the whole year, whatever it comes to. I want to make enough money to give me that 100%. I'm not here to play around.
Yeah.
I've had a bit of a slow burning career. But I've also done big things too. I've done big things, and I'm going to continue to do big things in boxing. I'll make sure that I put myself in the right positions. And I still believe I'll be a world champion, no matter what anyone else thinks, no matter what any of my losses have looked like. I know what goes on, and I know what I can do, and I know what I will do. I know I'm still going to shock a lot of people maybe in the next 12 months.
Mate, I love it. You've said two things which we are all aligned with: self-belief, and there's no plan B. Yeah. It's got to be plan A.
Yeah.
And you just adapt things along the way. We say that all the time. Like that's literally something we repeat. So you're already on the same wavelength. With making smart decisions in terms of, you've got finances, you've got the agency, stuff like that, people you're dealing with, you're always around people. Just in boxing, as in business and any kind of entrepreneurship, trying to achieve something great, you're going to have people around you. I asked this to John Hedges as well. Do you think your career will either be held back or progressed a lot quicker depending on the people that you're around? Because just like in other things as well, if you're around bad people, selfish, greed is a killer. Obviously, there's a lot of corruption and good and bad people in boxing. It's one of those aggressive sports. There's a lot of, under the table money being made. So things are played in favour for certain people. We all know that. Yeah. Can that affect the boxer's career? And how close do you stay to your own negotiation in terms of, I'm going to do this? No, I'll make my own mind up. No, you're not making it for me. How does that look behind the scenes?
Yeah, I'm very much like the second part of what you said. I do like to take control. So I've got my team, but ultimately the decisions are made by me. Like nobody says no, you can't do this, or yes, you can do that. With like my fighting and things like that, I've got an advisor, a good advisor, and he works closely with Matchroom for me. But I do see everything, and I do get involved in everything. It just gives me peace of mind, because you leave something to someone else, you never know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been on the bad end of that. I don't want to be. So I stay close to everything. I stay close to the negotiations. And make sure I'm involved as much as possible. I want to look after myself, because, like I said, I want to leave boxing with something, with my choices. And it's the only way you're going to be able to do it, because you just don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. Mm-hmm. So make sure you know.
Well, I want to go over a point here just for the audience. Control. We say this in business. Kieron said it in boxing. If you don't have control and you don't know what's going on, it's the same for when people ask me, how do you grow so quick on TikTok? I manage my own account.
Yeah.
And yet I know people who have got big Instagram accounts trying to grow on TikTok. And I ask them, are you managing your TikTok? No, I've paid for someone to do it. Yeah. So do you not see any of your own content? No. Do you not see the hashtags? No. There's your reason. You're not staying in control. You're not seeing the paperwork. Like you say, no, before you agree to it, let me have a look at it. I'm going to make the decision. Yeah. I think having an advisor is a good thing as well. Just it's always good to have a second brain. You know, when me and Paul are putting emails together or messages, I put a message together which I actually had to delete very quickly, sent it to Paul, and he was like, you can't send that. So, you know, it's good to bounce things off, because you may not make the right decision. So it's good. Yeah. Where does sort of like the next 10 years, do you have aspirations to kind of move the money making side of boxing into, like you say, you don't want to leave boxing after putting your body through all of this stuff. What does the outside of boxing look like in terms of smart investments, you know, money working for you, that business mindset? What kind of things are you interested there?
Do you know what? I like...
Don't say crypto.
No, not particularly. I've never actually been heavily involved in crypto or anything or things like that. But I've got a few like investors around me. I haven't got my own kind of niche in that side of things at the minute, because like I said, I am focused on boxing. But obviously you've got plans in your head that's going to happen, and you've got things that you are doing. Like everything's up and down, especially now with the way the world is. Like investing in anything at the minute is hard. Because of the financial situations of everything. But I want to leave boxing with millions, not just enough to go and buy a house. I want to leave boxing with millions. I want to give my all to boxing. But yeah, you have to stay around the right sort of people. So there is a few investors around me that do still advise me now, and will advise me in the future too. So I'm just keeping my eyes and ears open at the minute.
Being smart. Yeah. There's so many cases where you hear footballers made all the money in the world, and they go broke by 39 years old because they just didn't make good decisions. Yeah. I think you're right in the sense of, I like your attitude in, I'm going all in. Yeah. Because then horse blinkers on, no distractions. What's your views on, because you've got a great social media platform. This is something that's very, very relevant now. Brands approach you. You can earn money from all different ways, and having a great social brand, you know, marketing, business, all that kind of stuff, it all comes hand in hand. What kind of bonuses do you see from socials? Because let's face it, if you were a professional boxer, in fact, I know one in mind, wouldn't say his name, but I know a professional boxer who's not on socials. Right. And I can't get that, because I can't comprehend that the two need to go hand in hand. How can you scale and earn these millions if you're only a professional boxer that no one knows about? So how important to you is your socials, or is it not important?
To me, it's very important. I had this conversation a few times with people, and I think it's the new way of promoting yourself. It's basically the only way to promote yourself now. I can't think of another way. The newspapers. Who's reading newspapers anymore? And there may be a few, but does that then transfer over into anything worthwhile? Or are they just reading newspapers? They go in to read the newspaper when you go and get a result. That's it. They're not going to watch. They need to tune in. I don't see any other way. I really don't. I think social media is the new way to do basically everything marketing, promotional wise. But also that gives me another side income too for me. So it's important in both ways. It's important for boxing for me, and now it's important not for boxing for me. So social media for me is massive.
Well, it's in everyone's lives, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't escape it. If you're not, like we say, if you're not on socials, where are you?
Yeah.
You have got a great account. Something I just want to take this down, because this is, again, something that many suffer with, many are going through, causes problems. It can be the making of someone. It can change someone. Is having a big account brings a lot of attention on you. So I can only imagine that sometimes it's the wrong attention. We've all been there. There's, you seek the wrong types of validation. It can lead you down a dangerous path. And that's probably one of the negatives of socials, is that you get attention from the wrong areas. And if you entertain it, it can end up in absolute nightmares. How have you found, what I can only imagine, more eyes on the prize? You've got blue tick, you've got good following. How has that affected you through validation, trying to please other people you don't know? And has that affected your relationship at all? Does it cause any issues, or are you disconnected and you're very much detached from it? How has it affected, if at all?
I don't think it has affected much, especially things at home, like with my relationship with my girlfriend. It's not affected that at all. Whereas some people it could, because of certain like messages and things like that. Not once has it ever affected that. She understands what it is at the minute. Things with, I don't know, like I don't think it's negatively affected me. I don't really think it's positively affected me, except I can now earn a bit more money on the side, and because more people see me because of social media, I get in good positions for fights and things like that. But mentally, lifestyle, I don't know. It's not really that much different for me. Yeah, the blue tick came. I remember when that came, and it was kind of a joke. Everyone, I remember I got a message from someone. Who was it?
Oh, we weren't going to give it to you, Kieron.
Yeah. No, that's an accident.
Yeah.
No, but it was actually
a yellow one.
Yeah. I was on the Anthony Joshua card. It was fight week, and somebody's messaged me whilst I'm in the hotel, like, "When did you get a blue tick?" I was like, "On what?" And they're like, "Instagram." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that happened, to be honest." But it just turned into a bit of a joke. Everyone starts just like making banter about it. It didn't really mean much to me.
I feel like you're similar to me in the way that I talk a lot on lives and on socials about, if you're going to use these platforms, try and approach them with a disconnection.
Yeah.
Like, separate them. Use them for the good, ignore the bad. Like, for me, I never actually scroll on any reels. I rarely like anyone's post.
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, I like yours, so like mine back. but no, in all seriousness, I'm just very happy in using the platform as what it's for. And I feel like the way that you're talking, you just sound very level-headed. And I think that blue tick and the following, it just goes to some people's heads. And that's a real shame, because it's almost like false validation of, let's face it, if you've got 100,000, you're probably talking 60,000 are real accounts. 40,000. I mean, we know people who have got 10 to 20,000 and they think their shit don't stink. So if you think you know who you are, you might be that person. But it's true. And I think you're very level-headed. What would be your top tips as we sort of come to a close? To anyone watching this thinking, I just love to do more. Like, I really kind of want to achieve more. I want to stay disciplined. I want to get, because we're coming into a new year as well, and there's so many, we're going to start in January, we're going to attack it. What would you say are kind of your top tips in terms of staying, one, mentally sane throughout what is a crazy world, and, like you say, have some self-belief to go and get what you want? No plan B.
Well, firstly, I'd like to quickly touch on that blue tick thing. I know a few people that are chasing blue ticks on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's a bit weird. It's really weird for me. Why are you chasing that? What does it mean? I've got a blue tick. It's not changed anything about me. So I don't understand what you're chasing. And it don't make you a different person. The followers don't make you a different person. Well, it can.
Still bleed the same.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I still got a broken nose in my last fight, even though I've got followers and a blue tick and been on big cards. And you're still the same. Stop chasing this, like you said, fake validation. Because when you're chasing that sort of thing, and if you get it, it won't be enough. You'll still chase something. You still won't be happy. You still be feeling exactly the same. Go and do the things that really matter. Go and do something like with your family. The social media does not matter. It doesn't matter at all. And there's people that are too invested in this idea of having a big social media makes you something. It doesn't. Just go and do what you've got to do. If I weren't a boxer, I probably wouldn't have social media. I say this all the time. I only use it for, like what you said, I only use it for marketing. I use it for promotion. Any other reason, it's not social media for me, it's promotional media.
Yeah.
And that's about it. The amount of messages and stuff you get on there daily, it's impossible to use it socially anyway. So whatever you're chasing on that platform, stop. Go and do something that you need to do. Go and put your energy into whatever it is that you actually want to be and whatever you actually want to do. If you want to be a boxer, the social media helps. It's good to have it, but go and focus on the boxing. This will come too. Yeah. When you get on these big cards and stuff, it will start to grow itself. Just stop, forget about it, disconnect yourself, like you said. So yeah, that's what I've got to say about
it. Happens
that.
Organically, doesn't it? I think you hit the nail on the head. If you start chasing it, you're going to hit it, and then you're going to chase something else.
Yeah, if you're chasing anything.
And at the end of the day, why would you want to please people that ultimately don't give a monkey's about you? Let's 100%. Face it, they don't.
No,
they don't. People who follow you are following you for instant gratification for something you might post.
Yeah.
You fall over and break your ankle, they don't give two hoots. They are not at the hospital bed laying there going, oh, I'm really sorry about that. What can I do? I'll rub your ankle. No, they don't care. They're following the next person that is going to provide this instant gratification. Yeah. And we're all in this bizarre world of following people and watching other people's lives, going back to the whole be the creator, not the consumer.
Yeah.
Kieron, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. I've loved this one. If people want to reach out, connect with you, follow your journey, your boxing journey, where can they go, mate, and find out more about you?
Even though I just said
yeah, there we go. Kieron Conway. We'll leave it there. Kieron, it's been a pleasure. Do you know what? This is going to be the only one where Kieron doesn't need to say it. Go follow Kieron. He's a professional boxer.
yeah.
But no, dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
Cool. Cheers, everyone.